In a courtroom where justice should prevail, prejudice and deception often blur the lines of truth. When a Latino police officer falsely accuses a black woman, he believes his authority and words are unquestionable. But what he doesn't know shakes the courtroom to its core. She is a high-ranking Navy SEAL, a woman of unmatched strength and honor. This is a story of courage, resilience, and the unexpected power of truth that no lie can suppress. The morning sun cast long shadows through the courtroom windows as the proceedings began. The atmosphere was thick with tension, an undercurrent of mistrust and unresolved conflict. Officer Miguel Santiago, a respected but sometimes rigid Latino cop, sat confidently in the witness box. His demeanor was firm, his voice steady as he recounted the events leading to the arrest of the defendant, a black woman named Aisha Johnson. Aisha sat calmly across the room, her posture composed yet defiant. She had been charged based on Officer Santiago's testimony, accused of resisting arrest and disorderly conduct during a traffic stop. The officer's narrative painted a picture of a hostile and uncooperative suspect. Yet, those who knew Aisha were aware of a very different truth. A decorated Navy SEAL officer, trained in discipline, leadership, and courage. Her service record was exemplary, and her character stood in stark contrast to the allegations. The courtroom watchers whispered among themselves, sensing a deeper story beneath the surface. As Officer Santiago continued, his words carried an air of certainty, but Aisha's calm gaze never wavered. She knew the battle ahead would not only be legal but personal, a fight to clear her name and reclaim her dignity. The judge listened intently, the tension palpable, aware that the truth in this case could redefine more than just a single verdict. This was a moment where justice and prejudice would collide, and only the truth could prevail. As the courtroom proceedings unfolded, the atmosphere grew increasingly charged. Officer Miguel Santiago detailed the events of the traffic stop, recounting how Aisha Johnson had allegedly resisted his commands. His testimony was confident, drawing on his authority as a law enforcement officer. Yet, beneath his words, subtle hints of bias and assumption lingered, unspoken but palpable. Across the room, Aisha sat composed, her Navy SEAL training evident in her calm demeanor. She knew that appearances could be deceiving, and in this environment, perception was often as powerful as evidence. Her defense attorney rose, ready to challenge the narrative presented. They began to methodically dismantle the officer's testimony, highlighting inconsistencies and emphasizing Aisha's impeccable record of service and discipline. Witness after witness spoke to Aisha's character, describing her as a person of integrity, strength, and honor. The courtroom began to shift. Whispers of doubt spread among the spectators and even the jurors. Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, the story caught the attention of local media and community activists. The narrative of a decorated black Navy SEAL wrongfully accused by a Latino officer sparked conversations about racial bias, justice, and the complexities of law enforcement. Social media buzzed with support for Aisha, and calls for a fair trial intensified. As the case progressed, the courtroom became a battleground, not just for the truth about the traffic stop but for broader issues of race, authority, and respect. Officer Santiago's confident facade showed cracks as cross-examination revealed gaps in his account. Aisha's strength and composure shone through, challenging stereotypes and demanding recognition not just for herself but for those who face prejudice daily. The judge, attentive and measured, reminded all parties of the gravity of the case and the importance of impartiality. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation where the truth would ultimately have to prevail. The turning point in the trial came when Aisha was called to the stand. As she took the oath and faced the courtroom, her presence commanded attention, not because of any theatrical display but due to the quiet authority that radiated from her. She recounted the events of that day with precision, detailing her interactions with Officer Santiago and explaining her actions from the perspective of a trained service member committed to following protocol even under stress. Her testimony was unwavering and articulate, cutting through the haze of accusation. As Aisha spoke, jurors and spectators alike found themselves captivated by her story. The weight of her words carried the authenticity of someone who had dedicated her life to service and discipline. The defense attorney carefully guided her through moments of tension and challenge, allowing her strength and credibility to shine. Then came the revelation that stunned the courtroom. Aisha's rank and achievements as a Navy SEAL were presented, complete with documentation and testimonies from military officials. This unexpected disclosure shifted the entire atmosphere. The officer who had confidently accused her now faced the reality that she was not only a highly trained professional, but someone who had sacrificed greatly for her country. The courtroom reacted. Whispers of astonishment, subtle nods of respect. Officer Santiago's demeanor changed. The confident certainty faded into a more measured, contemplative stance. The balance of power in the room shifted as the true nature of the accused became undeniable. This moment marked more than just a breakthrough in the case. It was a powerful reminder of the dangers of snap judgments and the importance of seeing beyond surface impressions. The trial's narrative moved from accusation to reflection, forcing everyone present to confront their own biases and assumptions. In the days following the revelation, the courtroom was filled with a renewed sense of urgency and introspection. Legal experts, community leaders, and media commentators debated the implications of the case, discussing not only the specific incident but the larger systemic issues it highlighted. How often are heroes and victims misjudged based on race or appearance? How do authority and prejudice intersect in moments of crisis? For Aisha, the fight was far from over. Though the evidence increasingly favored her innocence, the emotional toll of being doubted and mischaracterized weighed heavily. She found strength in her family, military comrades, and supporters who rallied behind her story. Public opinion began to sway decisively in her favor, amplifying calls for justice and accountability. Officer Santiago faced scrutiny as well, his career and reputation under examination. He was forced to reckon with the consequences of his actions, not just legally but morally. The trial became a catalyst for conversations about police conduct, racial profiling, and the need for reform. Advocacy groups organized forums and discussions inspired by the case, seeking to educate and foster understanding between law enforcement and communities of color. As the final testimonies approached, the courtroom atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Everyone awaited the verdict that would close this chapter but also set a precedent for the future. Aisha's story transcended the courtroom, becoming a symbol of resilience and the relentless pursuit of truth in the face of injustice. When the verdict was finally announced, the courtroom fell silent. The jury found Aisha not guilty of all charges, vindicating her claims and exposing the flaws in Officer Santiago's accusations. The relief and joy among her supporters were palpable, but the victory was bittersweet. The experience had left deep scars. Trust in the justice system had been tested, and the societal divisions laid bare. Aisha's composure during and after the trial won admiration from many, highlighting her strength and dignity. Her story resonated far beyond the courtroom, sparking renewed efforts to address bias and improve community relations with law enforcement. Officer Santiago faced disciplinary action and underwent retraining focused on cultural competency and ethical policing. The case prompted departments nationwide to examine their practices and policies. Aisha used her newfound platform to advocate for change, speaking at events and mentoring young women of color interested in military and law enforcement careers. She emphasized the importance of resilience, education, and standing up against injustice. The trial became a landmark moment, a powerful narrative of courage, truth, and the fight for respect in a world too quick to judge. It reminded us all that beneath assumptions and stereotypes lie real people with stories worth hearing and lives worth defending. Aisha's story is a testament to courage, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of truth in the face of injustice. It reminds us that behind every accusation lies a complex human being with a story worth hearing. Her strength challenges us to confront our biases, question assumptions, and stand up for what is right, even when the odds seem insurmountable. In a world quick to judge, her journey teaches us the importance of empathy, respect, and unwavering dignity. Thank you for watching, and if this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring real-life stories.